Hey Jack,
Hey Jimmy,
why does Mace Windu hate Microsoft?
why does Mace Windu hate Microsoft, mate?
He had a bad experience with Windows.
Hello and welcome to episode 81. And if you thought Palpatine's return shocked you, then wait and see what we have in store for you on this episode. Greetings to all listeners across the Star Wars universe, and thank you for joining me, Jack, today on another exciting episode. Alongside me, as always, is the main man himself. It's Jimmy.
Howdy.
How's your week been, mate?
Good, 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 good. We got a short one coming up, 2 days, and we'll be off for Thanksgiving. When people left your country to come over here to find freedom. And then decided to have a big party or something. I don't know, but yeah. So we get to celebrate that on Thursday, and so that means we only have 2 days of school. Have some practices mixed in there, but yeah, pretty excited for that little break. How about yourself?
Nice. Yeah, crazy week. If you've not already seen, head over to YouTube. I did a quick rundown of the Skeleton Crew event. Managed to meet all the cast and the crew. Directors there with John Watts, Christopher Ford. Managed to get all the signatures on a sweet, sweet post. I'll be framing that bad boy. Met lots of different people as well, content creators, podcasters. Big shout out to Fan for Track lads, Mark Newbold. Absolutely fantastic day. It was absolutely freezing, but yeah, it was a really, really good day. And speaking of meeting new people, we've had a whole bunch of new explorers, haven't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, so a big, huge thank you to all the listeners. So people who listening to the podcast, people who are watching YouTube, people who are joining us on the Facebook group, people who are joining us on Instagram, like all those people. Thank you guys so much for making our community grow. We only thing what we're going to ask you is for you to be active. Tell us what you're thinking, respond to our questions. That'll just make these shows more fun. And if you hear us mention your name, that's always fun. I know I like it when I hear other podcasts talk about my questions and things like that. So please, 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 if you have a Star Wars question or a theory, let us have it. Send it to us, DM us, put it in the Facebook, whatever, and we will make sure we get it on the show.
Yes, we will. And remember to like this episode, share it with your Star Wars friends and family. And remember, follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, all at Explore the Force. And remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And there's a special shout out for Julia, who works at Vancouver Zoo. Listen out for more on that. Let's head out to this week's Force Encounters. Okay, so this week's Force Encounters then, I've already spoke about it earlier, was my Skeleton Crew event. I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but please, if you get the time, check it out on YouTube. I've done my best to hopefully make all the listeners and anyone that watches it feel part of the experience. It was cold. It was super rewarding though, getting to meet all the cast. The energy that the kids brought, even to like outside at the public on Trafalgar Square, was unreal. I can't wait for this show now. I know when it first came out, I was a bit dubious, so we say, Jimmy. But yeah, getting to meet Jude Law as well, absolute gentleman, very polite. Just love the fact that he all took the time to come and say hello to us all. Yeah, absolutely amazing. What about you, Jimmy?
Yes, my first Force encounter was living vicariously through you. I know I had practice at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I called you and you were just finished up and you were buzzing. You were freezing, but you were buzzing.
Yeah.
And then I got to see all the stuff. Then we got to talk later on. So, like you said, go check that out on YouTube. It's a quick 15, 20-minute breakdown of his time there. That was pretty awesome. And then I have been kind of diving into the comics. We got a little bit of a lull in
Nice.
books and things like that right now. So I'm catching up on that Insurgency, the new, after
Oh
Return of
yeah.
the Jedi stuff, and then it got mixed in there with Ewoks, and did some reading for today's episode. So yeah, so nothing too major, but always a little bit of Star Wars in my life.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so I mean that's really kind of all I've got for Force Encounters, but we did have a ton of news coming out today. So why don't we head over to Batu and see what's coming out of there this week?
Okay, yes. So if you're struggling to buy your loved one, friend, family member, whoever it is that's a Star Wars fan, a gift, head over to starwars.com. There is a plethora of ideas there. Also, loads of deals with discount codes. Jump on over there. There's things like Funko Pops. There's toys there. There's collectibles. There's no end of stuff. Clothes. The whole works. It's definitely worth a look. Starwars.com. Go on the latest news. Check out their Star Wars gift guide. It's a weekly thing that they're going to be doing.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Lots of good things there. We got some cool news this past week. Lucasfilm confirmed Star Wars Visions Season 3!
Yes!
Will be releasing in 2025. Announces 9 Japanese anime studios working on this season. I'm excited for this. I'm not disappointed that it's all Japanese animation but I really loved Season 2 with all the different cultures.
Yeah.
Versions of it, but I'm also, I really enjoyed Season 1 as well. So, hey, whatever. I'm
Yeah, I
down for it.
can't
Give me
wait.
more.
I can't wait. And in my opinion, I don't think anyone does animation better than the Japanese, so why not? And if it's releasing in 2025 and there's Japanese animation studios, where do we think that we're going to be seeing hopefully a few sneak peeks?
I would think in Japan.
Potentially. Next bit of news that we've got then is the directors of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. You've got John Watts, Bryce Dallas Howard, David Lowery, Jake, what's that one again? Jimmy Schneider?
Schreier,
yep. They all hosted a roundtable discussion alongside series co-writer Christopher Ford to promote their new series that's coming out on Disney Plus. To be honest, they don't really do any promoting. I don't say that in a bad way. I say it in a positive way because it was more of an insight into how their minds worked. There's a lot of how they met sort of thing as well. And again, it's lots of positive energy, lots of positive vibes. 15 minutes long, give or take. It's well worth a watch. It's just more things to get hyped and ready for Skeleton Crew. Have you seen it yet, Jimmy?
Yeah. They've been doing that, media release stuff. I think it's like 11 or 12 minutes long, and it got me buzzing. Like you said, they don't talk a lot about the show necessarily. Like there's no but their energy and all of them having fun together. It's exciting, and you just think about what all of those directors have done, what John Watts and Chris Ford have written together. I mean, I am super pumped for this. The first 2 episode runtime together is supposed to be 76 minutes long. Like, that's going to be great.
Yeah, that's a movie, and I absolutely love new stuff.
Yeah. And of course, we also had Empire Magazine released a full, like, kind of sneak preview of Andor Season 2. Not anything that we didn't know. Reading through the article is one of the reasons we didn't do anything special with it. I know Jack posted all the photos from it. It looks amazing. Tony Gilroy says that his goal of Andor Season 2 this time is to bring in non-Star Wars fans, which, I mean, anyone who likes good television or great television should tune into this, because this is, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to a Star Wars podcast, you like Star Wars, but you need to get out there. And people who don't like Star Wars, maybe this is where you introduce them, right? We always talk about that. Like, where do you introduce someone who's not a Star Wars fan, but like they like crime and and intrigue and things like that? This might be the ticket, man.
Yeah, this could be the window of opportunity if you've got, again, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, whoever it might be that to get them involved in the Star Wars universe. And speaking of people in the Star Wars universe, Samuel L. Jackson is in negotiations for a key role in an untitled feature at Warner Brothers.
Nice. Yes, J.J. Abrams, and so can't wait for that. That'll be cool.
Yeah. So obviously no Star Wars sequel or prequel of Mace Windu. However, it does tie nicely into this week's main show.
Okay, so earlier I mentioned that if you were shocked about Palps' return, then this one would blow your socks off. Ladies and gentlemen, rejoining the crew today aboard the Gaze Eccentric is the Rancor tamer and Bantha herder herself, it's Taylor.
Woohoo!
Hello there.
Taylor, welcome. How have you been?
I've been super busy, but it's been great. And you know what? I've actually really, really missed you guys. So,
We have
Oh,
missed you too. It's been fun. I honestly say that, we finally got this on the books. I've been looking forward to having us all back together. This is awesome. So thank you first and foremost for coming back on, and let's catch up a little bit. Tell everybody, because people have asked about you. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
well, I couldn't resist Jack's begging any longer to come back on the show, so had to give it to them. But I ended up moving to one of the houses on the property at the zoo. So, all the extra responsibilities of being on property at a park slash giant farm has kept me extremely busy. So, all the highs and lows of that and moving. And my daughter just started kindergarten, and that's like crazy. If you guys have kids and you know what the start
yeah.
of like school is, like how hard it is, then you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jimmy said, it's so good to have you back. I know you've been super, super busy. The listeners, everyone at Explore the Force is going to be so happy that Taylor has come back. Just to put it out there, obviously Taylor is still busy. She hasn't quit her job. She's still going to be working at the zoo. All right, so she's going to be coming on every now and again, as always, to join us. Big news, as always, though, Taylor. How are you feeling about the Skeleton Crew?
Oh my goodness. I have nobody to talk to about it. Actually, okay, that's a lie. I met a new friend at work who's super into Star Wars as well. But I'm so excited for it. It's like it's a different flavor. You know what I mean? Like seeing these
Yeah.
trailers, they're giving me like the hair on the back of my neck's like standing up and goosebumps, and like I just all of a sudden realize I have this huge smile on my face. And that's what I want Star Wars to give me. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Amen to that,
Nice.
Taylor. Amen to that. Sure. Taylor, what's on your over your right shoulder? What do you got there?
I have my High Republic, not mission robes. I'm working on those next. This is my temple robes, I guess, one of them. So I have one in the background that has the gold already on it,
Yeah,
but
very cool.
this one doesn't have the gold print on it quite yet. So, and then I have my Imperial Bridge crew also over
Nice.
here. So
So are you
I've
an
got
act?
Nice.
Was it part of the 501st now? Has that changed, or are you just cosplay? I mean, I wasn't sure where
I
you
have
at
a
with
lot of
it.
I have a lot of friends in the 501st that are constantly saying like, "Get your pictures in," and I have everything. Um, it's just, I guess, getting my photos sent in. But we just did a big, like, all the commanding officers just got revoted in and everything. So I guess now that the dust is settled, I should probably send that in.
Do
Hey,
it.
There you
yeah,
go. Awesome, very cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing. Like you said, you've been really busy with work.
yeah, right.
Well,
I am busy. I really am.
we believe we see the stuff that you're posting. So the zoos, I'm sure. I mean, I can't even imagine taking care of the zoo. So plus,
Yeah.
just
Well, and we've also had like we've filmed a couple of TV shows that I can't really say what they are, but you guys would really like them.
well, you told,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
lot of good stuff has happened. So yeah,
Exciting. Very
yeah.
cool. Well, we brought Taylor. We kind of pinpointed this episode. You guys remember Taylor is the book queen of Explore the Force. She's read everything, probably listened to it, read it, whatever. So we're going to dive into Mace Windu today. Um, we just have some quick facts that Jack's plotted down for us. But we're going to kind of talk about, I should just give you guys a spoiler warning now. Everything Mace Windu, including the book, The Glass Abyss, which is kind of be our focus today. But it's also good. It's going to be kind of a retrospective because I think we're all over the map when it comes to Mace Windu and how we feel about him. So this should be a fun conversation. So spoiler warning for everything Mace Windu, like comics, even as far as like the what's the Dooku cartoon? Why can't I think of it? Tales of the Empire,
Yes.
the Jedi, that stuff. If you haven't been watching that, we're going to be giving some things away. But Mace Windu is a force-sensitive human male Jedi Master, member of the Jedi High Council. He was the greatest champion of the Jedi Order and promoted in ancient traditions. Wielded a famous purple lightsaber. fun story about how we got that. Born in 72 BBY on, was it Harun Cow? Is that how they say it?
Yeah,
I didn't listen to the audiobook, so I don't know how they pronounced it. Did they
exactly
say
like that.
Harun Cow?
Yeah.
Um, he did, however, have a partner more. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. Jack, what do you got?
Yeah, so like we said, Mace Windu, a giant amongst the Jedis is a term I'd use. Personally, one of my favourite Jedi. I absolutely love the guy in everything, and the book's just solidified that for me. We obviously put that out there to the listeners as well. We had a bunch of the comments from the listeners, so thank you so much for all the comments. A couple of people then, we've got Lily Maxeron64 said that he's one of the best. Spencer Joritz, one of the previous guests, he said he's a bad mofo. Jimmy, what have you got?
Oh my goodness, family show. All right. Trevin Jones says he's the most powerful Jedi next to Master Yoda. Master Windu has a purple lightsaber, which means he bled his lightsaber, but stayed a Jedi. He uses his love of the Republic to help him in battle, using questionable methods in fights, which we will talk about that. Jamie Richards says he lives. Luke Summerfield said beefcake.
He lives.
He lives. So,
What are your thoughts on Mace Windu then, Taylor?
I think Jimmy and I have similar opinions. He's not my favorite. And like, I don't know. I don't have anything that I don't like about him. I just don't connect with him. I don't have that same, I don't know. He's just one of those characters I don't really connect with. But yeah.
Okay.
Jack, you love him, right? So you talk about that first before I bookend.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him. I think he's an absolute badass. I mean, the audacity in Attack of the Clones, like the film, just to walk up to Dooku and Jango Fett and be like, right, this party's over. Just from that moment, I'm like, this guy knows. Like he knows what he's doing. He's just ruthless as well. You know, he doesn't really take prisoners. Yes, he abides by the Jedi Order, but you know, I strongly agree he does. But then again, I can clearly state some facts he'd probably argue he doesn't. But yeah, I just like how he operates. And you know, you and Mike mentioned it. He's very similar to me. You know, get the job done. That's why when we was picking our like crew for missions and that, he's my hired muscle.
Yeah, right.
No, it makes sense.
He's Mr. Reliable.
I would want him on my team if I was doing something.
Oh yeah.
I think my problem is the same as Taylor's. Like, he's just not like most Jedi. And I know, like, we got the living for. We don't have a lot of Mace Windu.
No.
I don't think. I mean, we have these little clippets, you know, little snippets and stuff like that in the Clone Wars where he's with, but he's always such a jerk. Like, he comes across as like a jerk. Like, he's not compassionate. In my eyes, I don't see. I mean, I know he has compassion, but it's always like for his small circle in the living force, right? He sits there and he always says things to people, but then when it's to his former Padawan, he's all going to go raise hell and destroy our entire planet for her. But if it's someone else, he's like, no, you got to follow the Jedi code, you know. And, and then we'll get into the book, the stuff he pulled on Dooku, you know, kind of, I mean, he helps shove Dooku towards the dark side, I think. I mean, he just never doesn't have the same like Yoda and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. There's this like calmness to it or something.
Like a comfort.
Yes. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't get it. I love Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
He's brilliant.
I think we all probably can say he's awesome. You know, he's a great, you know, he's so funny, just the attitude he brings. But I just don't like this character. And I never read, is Mace part of Legends? I don't know that off the bat. I'm not a huge Legends guy, but the stuff that I know from canon, I just cannot get behind him, I guess. You know, I just don't, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't stand for me. But like I said, we'll talk about that more because you know we got a book about him finally because you know prior to it we've had a couple 4-run episodes of comics. I think there's 2 of those out there. We've got little snippets of him here and there in Jedi, Jedi, and then of course in Clone Wars we've got some stuff with him. Very little in the actual movies. But Mace Windu: The Glass Abyss by Stephen Barnes came out, I don't know, 2 months ago, I think.
October.
Yeah, so October, so not that long ago. And again, spoiler warning for all things Mace Windu. This is a standalone adventure, and it happens right after the death of Qui-Gon. So it's in between episodes 1 and episodes 2. And I just want to get right into it. How, and for people who, I know we haven't seen Taylor in a while, but Taylor consumes High Republic stuff and all the Star Wars, Red Blade and all these things. So Taylor, I'm going to start with you. How does this book stack up for you? Like, you got to rate it from a 1 to 10. What are you thinking and why? And then we'll dive into the why eventually, but just, off the top of your head, what do you think?
This book for me, don't hate me, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I don't know, I didn't get like this exciting urge to read this book like every day. Like I did read it every day because that's just me. But I almost had to turn it on and be like, okay, what's gonna happen this reading chunk, because there's just so many weird things that happen in this. But right off the bat, like the first 3 chapters sucked me in right away. And that's when I messaged Jimmy and was like, this book, oh, they're already talking about Qui-Gon. Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's when we started chatting about it. So, I mean, it sucks you in. There's just some stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Jack, what about you? What's your
Did you listen to it, Taylor, or did you read it?
I actually only listened to it this time. I usually have both, as you can see on my shelf.
Yeah.
Because I like putting my own, like, how the character would talk. I like imagining that in my own brain rather than how the person's reading it. But I have a very outside physical job. I'm gardening, doing stuff all the time. So I listen to it on Audible, and this is not one that I would want to purchase the book per se.
I'm the same. So I listened to it, and like I said at the start, I absolutely love Mace Windu, but for me this book was about a 6.5 at the best.
Yeah.
Exact same as Taylor. Like the first few chapters I was sucked in, and then I want to say by the late middle back end of the book I was a little bit lost, like what is going on, but it started to be quite repetitive. Like it felt to me like they're doing the same thing over and over. I get the relationship stuff with different characters. I was going to say the end boss. I can't remember his name now. Is it Tulok? Tulok was a bit confusing. Tulok. Yeah, I was a bit confused with that character as well, if I'm honest. I know he's got 2 heads and they say it's better than 1, but not in that case. But yeah,
1 of 3.
Yeah,
4.
But yeah, it's a 6.5 for me. What about you, Jimmy? What have you gone for?
I think I'm going to fall in the same place because it's the same thing. Like Taylor got me all hyped because she got hers first, I think, or whatever. And I read it and I was like, oh, yeah. But I never had like the desire to read the book. Like I like reading. I started off with the Audible version. And then when my hardback came, because I like to have both, I like flip back and forth. Like we're all busy, so if I have time to listen to it, I will while I'm doing something else. But I really do like, one way to relax is for me is just get up early, sit in my chair, and read. And so I just never was like killing myself to get back to this book. Like I would go a week without reading anything, and then hop back into it, and felt like I hadn't missed anything. Now there was some really great stuff in the book.
Yeah.
The first 3 chapters, like we said, really pulled you into it. And then they sprinkle some things in there. But I mean, it wasn't hard to figure out what was going to happen. Like I could have told you how the book was going to end by the time he gets to the new planet. And they say a few things. You're like, okay, well, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And this is going to happen. And all of it kind of came true, I feel like. So, for me too, I'm going to give it a 6.5, 7. I like parts of it, but it just wasn't like usually the last 100 pages of a book, I'm just eating it up. You know what I mean? Like I can't put the book down. Every second I have, I'm trying to read. And I just did not get that from this. I enjoyed it, but it just kind of had really high ups and really low downs, and like downs just kind of dragged on. I felt like I was forcing myself to get through it. I'm glad I read it, and I like the story.
Yeah, same.
I think it could have been written. I've never read anything by Stephen Barnes. No, it just wasn't for me. I don't think. So but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of sounds like we're all kind of in the same spot then with it. Did this book change your mind all about Mace Windu? Because, like I said, we got a lot of good little information, snippets of information I really enjoyed, but it was just kind of just a lot of fluff, I thought.
Yeah.
It's weird. I really enjoyed a lot of these characters, but it just didn't flow. So, did this book change your mind at all about Mace Windu? Taylor, you and I are kind of the same spot. We're both like, he's not our favorite.
Mm.
Do you like him more? Do you like him less? I mean, does it just?
It almost made me a little bit like, what the heck, man? Because he has this major connection with this woman and this planet and all their people, and he's just singing and dancing and just having dinners and feasting and all this stuff, and then the same thing is kind of happening to Anakin in real life. And do you think he can reach out and be like, hey, I know what you're going through? No, he's just shaming the hell out of Anakin his whole growing up. And like, think about it, this book happens after the Phantom Menace but before the Clone Wars, or the Attack of the Clone. So he hasn't changed. Like, he's the same jerk. Like, I don't know.
That
He's
is exactly my problem with this book. It's like he has this connection. He learns all this stuff. Like, he should be like the happiest Jedi in a council. But when we actually see him, he's still the same exact person. And I get it. I understand that they make these movies and they tie this stuff in. They do a great
afterwards,
job of it. But yeah, nothing has changed. He might be worse. Maybe he's colder now because he had to leave Kin Shan and all this stuff, But yeah, like, you saw this whole other side of him. Like, this guy is a human, because he just doesn't come across as a human being to me sometimes. Like, he's just this cold cow. I think he should be a Sith Lord. I think he's like one bad move away from being a Sith Lord. I mean, I think that's kind of how he would like to run the Jedi Order if he had the opportunity. He'd run it like just bam, bam, bam. So this book has done nothing. Like, I loved it. And then I finished this book this morning and I was like, damn, he hasn't changed at all. He has all these great things happen. He does all these great things in this book, and he has all these adventures, and he has all these feelings, and then he just he just walks away from it like it's nothing. I mean, he is cold. So, Jack, what about you?
Yeah, he's like a light side Palpatine, isn't he, in a way?
Yes, 100% yes.
Yeah. But for me, the book, I mean, Stephen Barnes does an excellent job of portraying Mace Windu from the movie. And it sort of ties into what Taylor is saying as well, that, he is a bit of a jerk with Anakin at times. And maybe it's because of what he's been through in this book. He's sort of taking it out on Anakin as well, which would make sense, perfect sense as well. So, yeah, big kudos to Stephen Barnes for that. Doesn't really change my opinion of him at all, because, again, there's a lot of parts in the book where he is a badass. And that is me.
Yeah.
That is one of the main reasons I love Mace Windu. He doesn't mess about, Like I said, he just gets the mission done and that's it. Even at the very end, Yoda says to him, again, spoiler alert, the mission wouldn't be complete, otherwise you wouldn't be back here. Everybody in the Order knows him. He's that guy. If a mission he's doing, he's going to be there until he dies or gets it complete. But yeah, for me, the book, it was perfectly portrayed for Mace Windu.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I felt like I was reading an extension of that character. So,
yeah.
But, all right, so, yeah, none of us changed our mind, really. I mean, I think it's really kind of just drove things home for Taylor and I. It's like, but what did you like about the book? Like, so we have the favorite characters outside of Mace Windu. What would you say? Like, did any of them stand out to you?
I mean, really, the blind Kin Shan seemed pretty cool. How she was blind and yet she can like jump jungle gym crazy up these mushroom walls and so, or she could see, what was it? She could see in a different dimension or something. Yeah.
Because they live in the, people don't haven't read the book. He lands on this planet that's been scorched by its sun. And it's just like this rotation that happens like every so many 1,000 years, 100 years.
Yeah, it's like a sun flare.
Destroyed by a sun flare, and everyone has to move underground. But this group of Sa'ad, which was very like Dune-esque to me, I think, like it sounds like Dune, have lived down there for thousands of years or so, and they have this connection with the Hylian. And there's these big. I mean, I had a hard time visualizing a lot of the stuff that they were talking about.
Yeah,
I don't think that I can picture, and he did a great job. I just wasn't able, like, in my mind to, like, this book never really, like, I'm not seeing these big giant mushrooms and these 10 different levels.
Yeah, I
all these things. I mean,
He
you know,
described it a lot, but I was like trying to figure it out, like the Great Wheel and like the children's maze, and the whole damn book is a maze.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was a map or something like they had in the Living Force.
A 3D
Yeah,
dimension.
that'd have been a
Something,
great idea.
just give us a map. I mean, I know that like I remember talking with John Jackson Miller, and he said he had to fight to get that map in, but you needed it during the Living Force to know what the hell and
It
where the
was
hell
great.
it's at. Yeah. Jack, what about you? Did you have any favorite
Not
characters?
really. Not really, if I'm honest, because I love Mace Windu, and I was solely focused on his story and background, etc. But there wasn't really any characters for they're interesting, or if I'm honest, stood out. I mean, Chulok. I don't know why, but to me, Chulok, I had this imagination of like an ogre from like World of Warcraft or something with just a big club.
Yeah, except it
That's
was a
all I could
Rodian and
picture.
then whatever
Yeah,
his species was. But yeah, I
yeah. So I
kind of
was,
thinking the same thing, like a big dumb ogre kind of thing. I don't know.
yeah. So I wasn't really like captured or interested in any other people. I was just really was focused on Mace Windu. I think perhaps too much, but yeah, for me, it's the same as well. The world building stuff. I couldn't really picture anything at the start. I thought some sort of glass planet, or irradiated world, and then the mushrooms thing. I was getting like Avatar vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah, I have some
Saad,
stuff
yeah.
about Avatar here. Yeah. So yeah, I liked Maya 8, the robot sisters. I
Oh
think it was 8,
yeah.
or was it 12? Yeah, 8 was the one that helped him out a bunch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, Maya 12 was the one
My
that was
12 is the one
like
that helped him out. 12, 8, and 14 were the two that were left, and there were 20 of them at one point. But I liked how she like had those chapters where she was like a private detective, like it was like L.A. Noir, kind of like
yeah.
change things, and then
She's like smoking while she's talking
yeah,
and
yes,
like
she
what
was just like taking on these personas of like her whole personality would change based on the job she was trying to commit. So I thought that was kind of fun. I think given the right story too, I think that Stephen Barnes could probably knock this out of the park, like some kind of like detective thing like that was pretty
yeah,
cool. I liked.
yeah.
We'll talk about a little bit more. Like I said, I have some stuff about Avatar, but I like that connection. I still couldn't wrap my head around what the Hylians actually look like. Those big giant slug spider things. Like
yeah. I had no clue.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. I liked how they came into the story, but I do feel like that's something that should have, because at the end of the book he says that he's not going to share any of this with the archives. But like, I
Mm.
feel like that's something that the Jedi should have experienced. Like Padawan should have gone and seen, like, look, this is called the web.
Yeah,
Other people see. No, I get it. What happens shortly after this book is
it's
done kind of
it's the
changes it.
Jedi's biggest problem, though, isn't it? They don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yes, that has not changed. So this will just be more fuel to that conversation when we eventually have it. But do you have a favorite moment from the book? And everything's fair game here. Like, did you have
Yeah.
like a scene that really stood out to you or anything like that? Taylor, do you have anything that like you were like, oh wow, like that was cool? Or
Um mm, I mean, I liked the idea that the whole underground civilization is like lit by mushrooms and stuff. Like me being like the plant kind of person, like I kind of like that. Um, and I actually enjoyed reading about the mushrooms or listening about the mushrooms while I was at work, because right now in British Columbia, where I am, it's like prime mushroom season in every single garden, on every single lawn. There's like a billion different mushrooms everywhere. So I was like, how is this book like this? As I'm like scraping the mushrooms out of the garden over by Rhino. But the part that really stood out for me was when they were having this like giant feast, and it was like, oh, this is a dish from here, and this is this, and Mace Windu is like, oh yes, like this is perfect. Oh,
Yeah,
like it's like,
yeah.
what the hell's going on? And then in the end, it turns out that Chulok is like, they're like proposing for like a threesome
yeah, like the god
with
like
Mace
status.
Windu.
Yeah, it was weird.
Join our threesome, Mace Windu. It's like, what the
Yes.
heck?
Yeah. Chulok was interesting. Like that was brand new, and that was something I've never seen in Star Wars or any
Yeah.
other sci-fi before. But that was weird, and I was not expecting that to be what that was. I thought something big fight was going to break out or something.
Yeah, no, I had to pause it and like rewind it 3 times. Be like, yeah, no, I heard right. They're like proposing to him. Like, oh, we'll invite all our friends. And
was weird. Jack,
Yeah.
what about you, Jack?
Yeah, I had a few. The ending for Tulok was a good ending. I thought I'm not going to spoil
Oh,
that.
yeah.
For that was pretty decent. Yeah, the moment where they go back to Mace's childhood,
I like
that
that. Yeah.
was absolutely fantastic. I love
Yeah.
that.
The build up to that was great because he had all those bad
Yeah,
dreams, and then he finally, yeah,
yeah, that was really really good. He got a bit more to his softer side, I think. But my favourite moment, again, it's in the first couple of chapters, is where he goes across that bridge,
mm.
and he even says as well, like you don't want to do this, or he said to the boss, and he's like, I told him it wasn't a good idea, and it
That's
just
fun.
describes like the guys didn't even know he'd moved. It was just like so like I don't know, yeah. That bit for me, mate, when he's taking down the three henchmen.
Yeah, I like the backstory. You know, with him, I don't think we knew that until this book. Right? I think we knew what planet he was from, or maybe that was
No.
Yeah,
officially, when this book came out. But I don't want to spoil that either. But I liked how he had the dreams, and I liked the fact that I thought maybe there's like something dark, like the dark side was going to be down in those tunnels or something that was doing something to him. But when you find out what
yeah,
was actually happening, and then when he becomes like the Saad or whatever, again, very Dune-esque,
yeah. It
very
was,
Paul
yeah,
Atreides going into, I can't even think of what the people were called at the time, but in Dune right now. But I thought that was cool when he finally gets to see like, and he kind of gets to come the peace. And again, like Taylor and I said, like he has another opportunity. Like he has this deep-seated fear that about his parents and how what
yeah,
happened with them, and then he gets the explanation. Should have been. I mean, it's not great, but it's still like they loved him very much and stuff like that, and it should have softened him a little bit, right? Like he shouldn't
Yeah.
yeah. You'd think
be
so.
hard ass to Anakin all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I'm sorry. If you were having these horrible premonitions about something, would you go to Mace and be like, I need help? No.
no. He had to be the teacher that everyone's like, ah, crap. When he walks in to teach a lesson,
Yeah.
everyone's like, ah, nuts.
Yeah.
Your
But it's
skills or
funny.
something.
It is funny how all these connections lead to Anakin, and then in the movies, everyone gets that sense. Well, I certainly got the sense that Mace hated him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he even says things in this book, like the young Anakin, he's like, yeah, he's not going to be any good or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Like,
mentions him quite a bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, dude,
But
like,
there's,
ew.
there's a few decent Easter eggs in it as well. I think the last favorite moment is me. You're sort of going to go into it now anyway, Jimmy. Is the web, but I won't steal your thunder on that just yet.
All right. All right. So, given all the nonsense, Taylor, we haven't really got to talk to you too much about the Acolyte. Did you like the
Yeah.
Acolyte?
I did. I liked it. There was like maybe one episode that I wasn't a huge fan of, and
Yeah.
yeah.
The Acolyte, and we hear, we loved it. We, it wasn't perfect, like we said, and everything like that. I don't want to hash into that all again.
Nah.
One of the big things was everyone being pissed off that the witches had the thread, and there were people making fun of it. I mean, just completely just repulsive jackasses about it online and saying dumb things and made because
Yeah.
it was funny. I feel like Stephen Barnes almost put this in the end of the book just to be like,
I
give them
love this.
that middle
This is what I
finger.
was going to say. Yeah.
But they have the web, and it's basically the Force, right? It is the Force. I think like at one point he says
It's
it's
the
like
Force.
different, but it's not. But how they
Yeah.
used it was really cool. So the Hylians are in these big giant worm, slug, spider things that
Yeah.
all around the bottom of the thing, and they've been there for years, and they produce this silk that's like all the tow cables and stuff. And I kind of wondered, like, were they using this stuff in the High Republic when they were like doing the Great Disaster and all that stuff? I was like, oh, maybe this is what they were using.
Maybe.
These like those cords and stuff. But and then the Saad, Kinshan, a few others are like it's kind of like a religious group that worship it, and they had this connection with the Hylians, and then the Hylians had this connection with the whole planet, which we find that out later. It goes a lot deeper than we thought. It gave off tons and tons and tons of Avatar vibes. But how'd you guys feel about getting to see? And now we've all read the High Republic phases 1 through 3, and in phase 2, there's a ton of like religious stuff in there, but it's all wrapped
Yeah.
around the. how'd you guys feel about how they used the web? Like, did you like the fact that
I
they?
loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. What did they call? What did the path of that open hand call the Force? Because they didn't call it a Force, did they? To
They
begin
called it
with,
the Force, I
They
think.
did
do.
they?
Just the Force should be free, so you're not
Yes.
allowed to use the
I think
You're
it
not
Force.
allowed
might
to
have been a
use it.
Force, but I loved it because again, this just shows in Star Wars and the massive galaxy that everyone sort of has their own interpretation of what the Force is. And I absolutely love that. Like the web, the thread, whatever you want to call it, it's all the Force to a degree, or it is the Force. I just love
Yeah.
that the fact it's showing different cultures, different religions, but it's all the same sort of thing, and it sort of ties into humanity to a degree. But we'll go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, it's all pretty much the same thing, isn't it? What about you, Tay?
Yeah, I liked the web idea, or like not quite a hive mind, but kind of everything being connected. And it just goes to show like these people, the Sa'ad, they're so close with the planet. Like they
Yeah,
don't, they're smart, they I don't know. They're not super technologically evolved, but they don't need to be because they're so connected to the planet. And they are the ones who believe in the Force or the web. So it just shows that
yeah,
people that are more connected to nature, uh,
yeah,
they feel this connection. So
yeah,
it's
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, I liked it, and the way that it ends. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, especially the way they, the mother Hillian, just that connection and things like that. I thought that was really neat. Um, and I thought that was a great part of the book where, like I said, I thought because they had these things called the depth dwellers that we get to see eventually. I mean, again, like I said, like as soon as they mentioned them, like, okay, those are going to come in at the end and they're going to cut down the city. I mean, there's so many obvious things. I thought I was like, oh, I didn't, but um, the connection I thought was really, really cool. And I wish that people who like hated the Acolyte and they make it fun, like read this book, like
Mm.
read Phase 2, just read the
it could
comics of
change some
Phase 2.
people.
Yeah, like it's okay for them to call it something other than the Force, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I love
still.
that on that scene on Jeddah where they're all like the different Force religions. I
Mhm.
love that. Love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, and I think that's what really, like, I don't want this to be an Acolyte thing or Acolyte hater bashing contest, but like you said, Taylor, like there's a whole council of different religions that all based around the Force, and then you got these people who think they know Star Wars screaming about it's not the Force. Well, yeah, well, not everything is, so it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
frustrating, I think, as a real fan. So, was there anything in this book that really surprised you? Like you're just like, whoa, or I mean, any of these, anything towards the end? Because I did think that they were going to leave Chulak for a sequel because I thought maybe they kind of lulled me into a false belief. But like that one kind of caught me because I was like, all right, like maybe they're going to bring him back. But I was like, when in the timeline are they going to have time to have Mace
Mm,
come after this fool again? So like I wasn't surprised, but I had kind of like, all right, well, that was an easy way out, if he really dies like that. So what did you guys have anything that really kind of caught you off guard by this book?
Um, without I don't know. We already said spoilers.
We already
All the
said spoilers.
all of the kissing. What the heck? Like, what is
yeah,
going on? Like, and Mace's love. He said to his love. It's like, what? What's
I mean,
going on? And
they
it's
were
like she's
married.
so beautiful. I know the whole time they were married, and it's like that night that they're all dancing and they're all together. It's like, you fool, you're at your own wedding. You don't even know it.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Oh my gosh. And I don't know. He's like, oh, her beauty, her beautiful milky eyes. It's ugh.
see, I completely. I'll be totally honest, right? And I had it on Audible. I completely missed all that, as in like he was married. I just thought
Well,
they fell
they
in
We're
didn't
love.
say
supposed to.
anything until the
You're
very end,
supposed
yeah,
to miss it.
because that necklace he was wearing was like their
Makes
wedding
sense
ring.
now.
Yeah.
Got
That
yeah.
necklace, and that's why she cuts it
Yeah,
off.
no wonder. Because when I
Red.
seen it and then you see that they were married, I was like, were they?
Yeah, I had no idea that they were married until I read
Wow.
them. I was like,
Okay.
whoa.
Yeah.
This is
I
the
think
thing with that book. It was super confusing at stages.
I think listening to this book, if you're not dialed in, would have been
Yeah.
difficult because I were times just this morning, and I read about the last 80 pages this morning where I had to like go back, like, what? And then, they don't
Yeah.
explain at the very beginning. He's walking across, and there's that robot droid that droid out there that's like lost. Then all of a sudden, that droid's there, and I'm like, that's a really long callback from like 300 pages ago that you haven't mentioned this droid once, and then all of a sudden there's just a droid. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it took
I'm
me a
with you on
minute.
that.
So, I was kind of surprised by the relationship thing. I thought they were going to have him be more stone cold, and I thought, oh man, this is gonna open him up a little bit. Then I realized, like Taylor, that he's worse when he comes back. Maybe I don't know. I did like the ending because Qui-Gon
Yeah.
leaves.
I love Qui-Gon.
Yes, Qui-Gon leaves this thing for him, but it's two parts. He's allowed to read the first part when he starts, and he's allowed to read the second part when he finishes, which I forgot about. And then when he reads that second part, and then and then Mace talks to Yoda about it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Just why Qui-Gon asked him to do it, I thought was pretty awesome. So
a good way to end it.
So let me see what else. But yeah, any other thoughts on this book or on Mace Windu in general? I mean, I know we kind of dove into this, but
I think for me, the book was super confusing, like you said, because obviously I listen to majority of my books. I'm driving as well, so majority of my concentration's on the road for the obvious reason. So I'm prone to missing certain things. But the books for me, like Audible ones, they have to really capture me straight away. I mentioned the first few chapters definitely did. I've listened to other Audible books and they've captured me before. Temptation of the Force, again, I sort of almost the same. But it just didn't quite do it for me, this one. 6.5 for me. And I still absolutely adore Mace Windu. Doesn't change that.
Think that because of how much of the High Republic we've read, we have all these connections with all these characters, right? And there's all these different things happening. This is what I was talking with Molly about this morning after I was done. And it's like, I didn't like this book, but I also think that I've been spoiled the last, 3 years or something. But I mean, especially this last phase, I mean, every book is like, it just gets better and better. And there's all these characters. And I don't know, like, do you think that hurts this book coming out when we're almost at the end of the High Republic, and that book is just, that series is just ramping up to a point where like every book has been my favorite book of the High Republic so far. Like every time, like, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that hurts this book, or you just think it maybe?
I don't know if it hurts the book. There was a High Republic Jedi Vector mentioned.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and it's just like a regular like pirate or whatever flying the ship, so he can't use all of the cool Jedi like weaponry and stuff on it, which is pretty cool. And then it just explodes in the end. Now that I'm thinking about it, the main like villain guy that wasn't Chulak, his name was Nala Flafita.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
I don't know. I don't know. Nala doesn't seem like the most cruel guy in the galaxy. You know what I mean?
Simba's girlfriend.
That's literally what I think of. I think of a female lion. Like, I mean, where do I live? Oh, I was gonna actually, if I heard the lions roaring outside, I was gonna open the window, but they haven't gone, so because I can hear them from my window.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but and then another thing I noticed about the book was that I got a lot of like the Last of Us game vibes during the end battle.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like
all the
actually,
fungi.
The fungus things. Yeah, I was like, whoa, this just turned into The Last of Us. So, and like the sleeping torture thing was weird too. It was an interesting book. It was interesting, but I don't think it hurt it. I think there was just there just wasn't as many characters. There wasn't as many connections and throwbacks and all this stuff which we're used to. But I don't know.
I feel like this book was fun and had a lot of cool, unique things to it. Just didn't land for me. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'll probably never reread this.
Yeah, like the dancing thing where he's like dancing. I don't know.
I just got vibes from like that was second Matrix movie where they're having that big party and stuff. Everyone's just jumping around and dancing. That's kind of what I visualized for that scene. But I don't know. So, but all right, Jack.
Yes.
For us, I think
it's time. It's quiz time.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Okay, so this week we're going to do a quiz. As always, the listeners all got some feedback to me. They absolutely love the quiz part of the show that we've been doing. So without any delay, we're going to get into this week's quiz. Now, this week's quiz is all about Mace Windu. Taylor, have you got something to write with and show the camera an answer?
Geez.
If not, it's not a massive drama. You can just say it and they can hear you anyway. We're all good. We'll just come to you for the second answers. So
Okay,
as
I got
always,
something. We're good. Got a bet.
okay, so
You did spring this on Taylor, by the way, to everyone.
I have no idea even what this is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You sprung this on me about 20 minutes before we hopped on the air, too. So
it's got to be authentic. These are the authentic reactions that we're getting. You know, nothing's pre-done on this show. Let me tell you. Okay, so questions then. Mace Windu, yeah. How it works then, I'll ask the questions. I'll give you about 5 seconds to get your answer, and then I'll just nominate one of you once just to hold up your board to the camera and just say your answer. That way you've not cheated or Googled it, so it's not giving you enough time. So again, if you don't know the answer, don't worry, and we'll go for the scores at the end. Listeners, again, listen, let us know how you did. Let us know in the comments, and also let me know how you felt about this week's quiz. So, first question then, tricky one. Who was Mace's Masters? There's a point for each. Who was Mace's Masters?
I can't think of how to spell the name.
Okay, here we go. Taylor, what you got?
Yoda, and I can't remember the other one.
Okay, Jimmy?
I just put it's like Burlock or Turlock or something weird. Like they mentioned 2 or 3 times in the. I don't remember though. Because they came up with that. They come up with the fighting form together.
So you got Surslan Mer and Yoda.
Surslan.
Surslan Mer and Yoda. Right, so 1-0 to Taylor. Right, next one then. What was Mace's final words in Revenge of the Sith? Not included in the yeah. What did he say to Anakin? What was Mace's final words? Here we go. Couple more seconds to let you finish it up, Jimmy.
Oh no!
But
Go on, Jimmy. What have you got?
He's too powerful to be kept alive.
Oh no! I put he's too dangerous to be kept alive.
Oh, both of you are very close. So his final words were, he has control of the Senate and the courts. He's too dangerous to be left alive. Was that you, Taylor, with that one?
Yeah,
I said dangerous.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, next one. Nice and easy. Which hand got the chop? Which hand of Mace's got the chop? I'll help you out. It's either his left hand or his right hand.
Oh, thanks.
Oh wow, thanks.
Okay, I think I know.
All right.
Okay, Jimmy.
His
Left
his
hand.
left.
No, right hand. Right hand.
I felt like he had the saber pointed at him with his left hand.
He did. You look at it, it's his right hand.
Damn it.
Okay, nice and easy. This is a really easy one. Who was the actor that played Mace Windu? Who was the actor that played Mace Windu?
You have to write this down?
Nah, you can just say this one.
Samuel
it.
Jackson.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson.
Happy days. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Okay, next one then. How many Jedi assisted Mace in the failed attempt on Palpatine?
All right. Not including Mace, right? Just a number.
Not including Mace.
All right.
Yeah, I did
What we
4
got?
plus Annie.
I put 3.
3. 3's the answer.
No!
Kit Fisto and Eth Koth and Sassy Tinnum, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How do I do stuff like that? I don't know what hand got cut off.
I've got no idea. Okay. Again, nice easy one for the listeners as well. Who was the bounty hunter that Mace beheaded?
No.
What you got, Taylor?
Django Fett.
Nice.
Django
Nice and easy. Next one then. What was the famous line Mace said to Dooku when he held his lightsaber to Django? What was the famous line Mace Windu used to Dooku when he held his lightsaber to Jango?
You mentioned this.
I did. That's why. Sneakily through the show, I've talked about all of these.
Hi, dog. This is why Jack has too much free time. He's dangerous.
Oh,
What have you got, Taylor?
it's not. This party's over. I can't. Oh no. No, I can't remember.
No. Jimmy, what you got?
This party's over.
Yeah!
What?
Taylor, what are you doing?
What's wrong with me? Okay, just cut it, and then I said it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Taylor's back. Right, next one. This is a really, really good one.
Taylor, we've missed Taylor.
What three letters did Mace Windu's hilt have on presented by the crew? What were the three letters on Mace Windu's hilt or Samuel L. Jackson's hilt of his lightsaber that his crew presented to him? There's an extra point if you know what it stands for.
Is it? Can I say it?
Go, Taylor.
Is it BMF?
That's what I have too, BMF.
And you both know what it stands for, yeah?
Yeah, we won't say it on the show though.
Oh,
Yeah. We can say ass. We can say ass, that's fine. But that'd be BAF, Taylor. Cool. Right, put you both down for one on that one. Right, next one then. And this is a difficult one. This is a hard one. Which two Jedi did Mace Windu sit in between on the Jedi Council? Which two Jedi did Mace Windu sit in between on the Jedi Council? You two are drawing at the minute, I think.
okay. I think I got it.
Yeah, you are. You're drawing.
Oh, what's his name? He was just. All right.
Okay, what we got? Go for it, Taylor.
I have that he's sitting between Yoda and Kiadi-Mundi.
That's.
Ooh, close.
I put Yoda and Birthday Guy, which is Kiadi-Mundi, but
Not quite. You're both very, very close. It was Yoda and Plo Koon.
Oh, I knew it was someone with a weird face. God.
Yeah, Birthday Boy was on the other side of Yoda.
all right. Birthday. Could not remember Kiadi-Mundi's birthday. I just remember, or his name. I just remembered all the drama.
Last one. What was the first movie that we first saw Mace Windu in? This is probably the easiest question of all. Jimmy's got it. What you got? Yeah, Happy Days. Awesome. Again, listeners, let us know how you got on with Jack's Quiz of the Week. Love doing those. Scores for both of you. Ended up a draw.
I didn't even study for it.
No. The fact that Taylor said it's not this, and then she should have said that for the party's over, you'd have won.
What the heck, hey? What the
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, that wraps up this week's podcast episode. As always, thank you so much, Taylor, for coming on the show. Hopefully we get to see you again in the future when it starts to calm down a little bit for yourself.
Yeah, I think
absolutely
so.
amazing having you back. As always, we always get to end on a little quote. I've got an idea what Taylor's is going to be. How about from me? This party's over.
And for me, for light and life.
It's been a while. All right, Taylor, thank you so much for coming back on. I have a few questions for you when we're off the air about something, but for all of us, we have spoken. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.